feet to the question I did, and they are still not that good.
Your questions
I'm literally an inch. I don't know what else I can do.
Your questions aren't even until the next one.
Just keep talking.
What do you fucking talk about, Tyler? Hello. What? Ha.
Hello.
So, yeah, so
Is it me
I will say,
looking for?
after doing this segment, I have a greater respect for Adam, surprisingly.
Whoa.
What about the rest of us who put heart or soul into questions?
Whoa.
That's what I'm getting into. And as a sidebar, Tyler and Daniel.
As a sidebar?
Yeah.
Well,
As
Adam
a
does it a lot more than you
sidebar.
guys. Like,
That's because...
statistically.
Okay, do you know for a fact that he does that? Maybe me and Daniel write the episodes and we have to send it to him, freaking George McFly
The
style.
questions are far too bad for them to be
Yeah,
Well, see,
ones
then-
that we've written.
Then he
So that-
changes them.
Yeah, then that
could
line
be.
of thought is, so you're saying you send it in digital form to Adam, who then, instead of printing them off, because he doesn't have a printer, writes them all down by hand?
Yes.
Yeah,
Actually,
That sounds 100% believable.
Actually, they send me the digital form. I print them out, and then I lay the printed out section right next to me, and I handwrite them out.
you put tracing paper
Yeah.
in between and you do on tracing.
Okay. Hello and
So
welcome
instead
to
of
the
spending-
Ridge.
Wait, when did you push the button?
Long time ago.
he
Oh!
doesn't, he doesn't even change the first page half the time.
No, this is a new one.
Ooh.
Hello and welcome to The Ridge, a show by Damage Control Podcasting, a professional and unprofessional look at the conventions, ideas, and genres of filmmaking. I'm here with...
Daniel Newkirk.
Cody Dietrich.
Me.
All right, this episode's topic is jumping the shark, or discussing franchises that have jumped the shark.
Mm-hmm.
What's the term mean?
Well, I don't know what it means.
And I
but
feel
I'd
I feel
to-
like our giant worm episode jumped the shark.
Maybe a little. Well, we
Nah.
jumped the shark a long.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like
No, the
episode-
Batman versus Superman commentary.
Well, if we could take a pause for a second. on
The
jumping
shark jumped out of the water and ate us on the Halloween episode.
I will have to say that we actually are in works with Warner Brothers to produce our new spin-off show, Damage Control Dance Podcast. And it's gotten great reviews starting out.
If we're in
It's
the
gotten-
works
it's
to
gotten
start it, how's it getting
reviews?
reviews?
We haven't even done it.
Well, people are very
Are you
hyped
the only
for-
one that they're bringing over for this show?
Yeah,
Apparently,
people
the
are-
rest of us got recast.
Yeah.
Who's playing me?
I think it's...
Tom Cruise.
Clay Aiken.
Yeah, so I'm digging
Adam-
both of it.
Adam, we got... what's that guy that's...
Just
never-
the
Steve Buscemi.
It was just the shortest
The
actor I
Boosh.
could think of.
Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, I'm Ryan Seacrest?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm Ryan Seacrest. Who's Daniel?
That's a thing that's never been said
Choose your
before.
words carefully.
I'm trying to think without offending you.
Ruben stuttered.
Who?
I'm thinking of American Idol winners. I don't know. Or he lost.
Who played Red Guardian?
Oh, David Hooper?
Yeah.
Harbor.
Harbor?
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah, like when he
The
had
sexy
hair
man.
before he shaved it, he's got like a similar body type, and I think about he put on a pair of glasses even for your clothes.
Okay, what does the term jumping the shark mean, Tyler?
Like what I just said, spinning off or giving something so outlandish that it's like so far from the original concept. Like, what's the fucking point?
That's a little bit closer than spinning off.
Yeah, basically a show hits a point where the material has changed so drastically from what it started as that people are just like, what the hell is this?
Well,
Right, like it's a steep decline in quality after like the design or creative process has gotten filled out to the extent.
Like
it comes from Happy Days, I think. Is
Yeah.
where that term comes from.
Let me use the not urban dictionary, Wikipedia.
Urban
From the Supernatural Wiki.
With its $100. You guys are all right, but I'm going to use $100 words here.
Oh.
Term used to argue that a creative work or entity has reached a point in which it has exhausted its core intent and is introducing new ideas that are discordant with or an extreme exaggeration of its original purpose.
Okay,
Was discordant the $100 word?
Your $100 words go greatly down in value
No,
when you can't pronounce them right.
New.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
And like Daniel was saying, the phrase was coined by a radio personality, John Heen, when he was talking about the 1977th episode of Happy Days, which had what?
Fonzie, like on a surfboard that jumped a shark, literally on a surfboard or
Hollywood.
something like that.
It was like Hollywood Part 3. Fonzie jumps a shark on skis.
Oh, that's what it was, water skis, yeah.
Yeah, because I was reading about it before we decided to do this, and I guess like Henry Winkler like used to be a ski instructor, and his dad would be like, "Hey, mention that you were a ski instructor," and he's like, "It's a show set in Milwaukee. Like, why would I mention?" And I guess they ended up putting it in there.
Well, before you all make fun of me, I actually went to a few websites and started writing some of their stuff down, and it was taking too long. So I just saved the websites, and we'll go to the websites because it took way too fucking long, even for me.
Welcome to Content Thief, the podcast.
So before we go to the websites, what are some of your TV shows? We'll do TV shows first. What's your all's favorite, or what like hurt your feelings? Like what cut you in the heart the most?
It's got to be like the last season of like a dozen different shows, because like the last season of House, the last season of Game of Thrones, the last season of True Blood,
last season of The Office. Well, the last couple seasons.
When House was in the asylum and then started rapping.
I don't remember.
Oh, that was a good.
That was like, I was like, I think it's.
You know why he was rapping? It was the dude that wrote Hamilton. It was his roommate.
But look, just because like I get that the guy was on the show, the guy's known for rapping. Do we have to accentuate the fact that the guy's a rapper? Because he does the same thing in How I Met Your Mother when he's on there. He has a rap scene on there. I think a few other shows that he's on, he also has additional rap scenes.
He also raps in Hamilton.
Yeah, I understand he raps in Hamilton.
What's Hamilton?
It is a show. It's a town made of ham.
That was
Ilton.
dumb. That was extreme. Look, that joke was so dumb. Daniel just got up and left the fucking podcast.
The last few seasons of The Office, how it seemed like over the course of the show, everybody just kept getting fucking stupider and stupider. Like, it was getting to the point where it was realistically like, oh, this doesn't make sense, to the point of like, okay, that's just fucking absurd. Like, that wouldn't actually happen.
And that's when, isn't that when, what's his face left?
Yeah, Michael Scott. Crap, what's his actual name?
Carell.
Steve Carell.
Boy Meets World, Eric Matthews used to be like the cool.
Yeah, but some of the best episodes.
Yes, I agree. But I mean, he wasn't the smartest, but he also wasn't a complete and total idiot. Yes, I agree. The best moments are Eric being a complete and total moron.
Yeah.
But it was just a drastic change out of nowhere.
I would say House. I think, as much as I love House, I think when they did that, when they started doing specialty episodes, the one where they had that, I think it was House Frozen, when like Mina Savari, or I think it was Mina Savari, it may have been, I can't think of her name now. They were in that scientific camp in Antarctica.
Oh, and he was doing it over
a Zoom call or whatever. When they started doing specialty episodes like that, and then the musical episode. Of course, that was like way towards the end, though.
A musical episode.
Yeah, when everyone sang. Cody got in that super sexy outfit, though.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
That was really weird.
Or like the one where they use the editing as like set dressing for him having like being in a coma or whatever. You remember that one where he's like, they do the editing where they're in one conversation and then the edit and it jumps like they do through every episode, and they're walking down the stairs and he's like, weren't we just in somewhere else?
I like that one.
Yeah, but it's
when he got shot.
I think so.
Yeah, I like that one.
Last season of Scrubs,
I mean, that's
like
fine.
It should have ended, but they're like, oh, this is too popular a show to end, so they tried to suddenly just spin off to be like, bring in a bunch of characters nobody really cared about.
Scrubs had if that hallway scene was one of the best endings.
Yeah, and
that they
should have
done.
ended right there, but then they decided to, we don't want to let this die, so we're going to do another season where everybody goes back to school.
Like Daniel said, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the last season of Game of Thrones was a real letdown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is that because they jumped the shark, or is that because like we just don't want to do this anymore, so just get it fucking done?
I mean, that's fair, because I don't think there was any specific jumping the shark moment that I can think of in Game of Thrones where I'm like, this is just going downhill now.
I guess if you want I guess I don't know if it would be called jumping the shark, but it's like the pacing. You know, they rushed 2 huge plot points in season 8
Yeah, they did.
into like the White Walkers coming through the wall.
Oh yeah, didn't they make the Night King out to be his badass, and then he like dies in like a second?
Yeah. And then the Daenerys taking over King's Landing, and then who's going to be the new king and everything. Like, they crammed like 2 or 3 seasons worth of stuff into like 6 or so episodes.
Yeah, they really needed to slow down and kind of take their time on that, because it was 7 seasons worth of build up on the White Walkers, and then everything resolved within an episode.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess I don't know if you'd classify that as jumping the shark. The drastic change in pacing, or I guess what might be jumping the shark. So King's Landing is supposed to be situated next to a river or the ocean, and one of the scenes is King's Landing in a vast desert.
Huh.
What was it? A jump in time, or why
Nope.
was it in the desert?
Nope, no one knows.
Yeah, it was just
Like
they didn't.
surrounded by desert, or just
Was,
one
was it
side?
King's Landing or Casterly Rock?
It was King's Landing.
Well, because didn't they show King's Landing against the ocean several times in the past? Like,
Well, isn't it? Yeah, because that's the whole point of the Blackwater Bay incident. is because
Yeah, I mean,
they tried to
there's
get
an
that ship.
ocean here, and then they talk about it throughout the series. There's forest all the way around the rest of King's Landing, and then all of a sudden it's just like, hey, ocean, King's Landing, we're in this vast desert.
Climate change.
It happens.
Okay, what about one last thing?
Oh, yeah,
And
go
then, what about shows like The Simpsons, Family Guy, and all that? That after a certain amount of time, every single character in the background gets their own character episode. Is that be considered like a jumping of the chart? Is that just not wanting to let a series die? So instead of like, okay, we've dealt with the main cast so long, when you start focusing on everybody but the main cast, like, is that considered a jumping the shark moment, or is that just trying to wring more story content out of something that's not working?
I wouldn't consider that jumping the shark, but I mean, there are definitely moments in those episodes. Like, if you were a big fan, you could probably pick the point where they're like, okay, you're out of joke ideas, and you're just kind of running them through. Like, I kind of feel the same way about the specialty episodes in South Park. Like, where South Park had, like, the random anime episode.
Yeah.
And, like, okay, like...
Do they still do like actual episodes now, or they just do specialty
I have no
episodes?
idea.
I think they're getting paid millions of dollars just to do fucking streaming specials. And that's been sort of like, instead of doing like 30-minute episodes now, they're just doing like hour-and-a-half long episodes devoted to like 2 or 3 topics at a time, instead of just the topic of the week like they used to.
Yeah. I guess for Family Guy, the only one, and I'm not a huge Family Guy fan. I'm not, like, this show has funny moments, but as a whole, I don't care for the show. But I think if I had to pick a jumping the shark moment, is when they killed Brian.
Yeah.
And then they had
actually
to
on the list.
and then they had to retcon it and be like, no, he's fine because of animation bullshit. I don't remember what they used to justify to bring him back.
Time travel.
Okay.
What about Lost? Did Lost jump the shark?
Jack's tattoo episode.
You all went on the internet.
No, I'm
didn't
dead
you?
serious. That was the weirdest random episode.
Well, it kind of
ever.
makes sense because remember in the pilot episode, he's like, count to 5. Look at my shoulders. Look at my sexy.
That is
nude
not.
shoulders.
He's not like.
Yeah.
Look at my. He's wearing a black T-shirt.
Hey, no, he's
Oh,
not.
never mind.
He's wearing
He's
a white
getting-
shirt, black tie.
He's
Trust
getting.
me, I remember.
He's getting
I'm like,
sewn
hey,
up.
Kate, look at my off the shoulder look here. Say count to 5.
Well, wasn't Lost one of those 2 that was supposed to end at a certain point, but it was so popular they just kept fucking going?
I don't know if you would ever be able to get a straight answer.
No, I think well,
Yeah.
like Tyler says, there's not a straight answer. But see, the showrunner's like, you'll never guess what they are, and everyone's like, they're dead, they're in purgatory, and they're like, no, that's not true. So I think they just made like more, and then they ended up being dead. And they're like, we called you guys out, and you're like, no.
But they weren't dead on the island.
I'm just saying that's what the fan discourse was.
So the whole reason it didn't end sooner is because they're like, okay, we got to do something that really surprised them because they got our easy solution.
No, I think what it was is that the reason it didn't end sooner is because rather than having a plan, they're just like, what if this weird thing happened? And then they realized that the show got popular that, hey, we need to explain the weird thing.
Yeah.
See, and I feel like jumping the shark isn't always necessarily on purpose. Like, they're, like, out of ideas. Like, the first season of Heroes was really good.
Oh, yeah, it was.
The second season of Heroes, which was done during the... I don't remember what year, but I believe it was done during a writer's strike. And, like...
I think that was 3.
Okay, one of the seasons was done during a writer's strike. And, like, it just sprinted downhill because they were, like... They were just trying to push stuff out.
Yeah, it was the one where they turned... what's his name? Cyrus?
Is that Spock?
Sylar.
Yeah, the guy who could eat people's brains. When they turning him into a good guy, it was that season.
Was that Spock?
Yes.
Yeah.
Zachary Quinto.
Yeah, whatever season it was where they turned him into a good guy was the season where I would say that was the shark jumping. I think that was the one where during the writer's strike.
The main Nathan Petrelli, he dies, and then they brainwash Sylar into
Spoiler, I'm
taking
only like 3 episodes in.
You're not going to watch it.
taking his spot, disguising himself as him, and thinking that he's him. Yeah, it was confusing.
Yeah.
Are you mad because we're not on schedule?
No, I'm just making...
Well, why do you keep checking the time?
Because I get paranoid.
And then,
No, I'm
like,
looking to make sure it's still recording.
Allie Lauder's character, like...
She's the cheerleader?
No, she was the one that would, like, black out, and, like, her other personality would take over.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And, like, then, like, you found out that she was a twin, and her twin was taking over.
Yeah.
And then she had, like, a third long-lost sister who could freeze people. Yeah, it was just, like, you're just throwing whatever you want at the wall.
Was Hayden Panettiere the Superman on the show?
Yeah, the
cheerleader?
Save the Cheerleader, Save the World.
But, I mean, wasn't she indestructible?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she had
I mean, she
regeneration,
didn't have super strength or anything, but, like, as long as nothing hit her brain, then she could come back.
Yeah.
Brain or heart?
I'll say, wouldn't it be the heart?
No, her heart, she could regenerate from the heart because she had her chest open and she was during an autopsy and she had to close her body together.
Some dude, she, like, purposely killed some kid or got him in an accident. She had, like, a stick, like, jammed into her brain, and the, I don't know who performs an autopsy.
The mortician or optometrist.
Coroner.
I like optometrist better.
Like, removes the stick, and then, like, you see, like, color, like, rush back to her face, and, like, she just, like, folds the flaps of her skin back together, and then it heals.
Yeah.
So even once you remove the whatever's causing the damage to the brain, once you remove it, it's like an on button, or it's
basically,
you just. So if you put her brain in a blender, blended it up.
Well, I mean, they didn't go that far.
No,
Eventually, she dies because she's not in when they remade it.
Yeah, Reborn. I think they discussed that the way that they killed her is by removing her brain in Reborn, but Reborn was so fucking bad.
I didn't watch it. I kind of wanted to, but
it was pretty bad.
Any other favorites before I go to website?
I think
would the drastic change in Stewie from Family Guy be jumping the shark?
I think that was more of a
because he went from very much I'm going to kill all this stuff, and then he became a very, very flamboyant gay character.
The gay was the homosexuality was like always hinted at, but he was intelligent. He was like hyper intelligent, and he wanted to kill his mom, and he wanted to take over the world. Then he just became like a goof.
Well, I think that's more of an evolution of, like, okay, that's funny and all that. It's not a mainstay. You can't have cartoon villain going to take over the world every week like Pinky the Brain and maintain for 30 seasons.
Why can't you?
I just feel like
I would watch 30 seasons of Pinky and the Brain.
Okay, here's a little bit off topic, but what do you guys feel about not necessarily jumping a shark, but hanging a lampshade on something?
See, I think hanging a lampshade on it is fine if you're doing it right. Because, like,
explain
Supernatural, hanging a lampshade is when you're specifically calling attention to a trope.
Okay.
So I think Supernatural did a hanging the lampshade on the concept of jumping the shark. It was I think the episode where they introduced the third Winchester brother was literally called Jumping the Shark.
Yeah.
And that I thought was a fun lampshade. Because they knew that's the exact moment people are going to be like, oh, they jumped the shark when they introduced this third long-lost brother. But it ended up being like an interesting plot point and stuff.
Well, then they've got an episode in season 7 where it's literally called Season 7 is Time for a Wedding. And it's a wedding episode. I mean, it doesn't necessarily follow tropes. I think maybe just the title of the episode is kind of like, hey, we understand, what people are thinking. Like, we've been going on 7 seasons. We're going to hint at this.
Right.
Well, what about, you might remember this one, in Transformers, it might have been the first one.
Have you ever seen Transformers, Daniel?
No, I'm not familiar with the franchise.
The first one Mark Wahlberg was in. I think it's that
okay.
one. Where he goes.
Not the one right before last night, right?
Yeah.
No, he was in 3, wasn't he? Or was he in 2?
He was in 4.
4.
He was in 4 of them?
Oh,
No.
The first 3...
The 4
the movie 4.
Yeah, because the first 3 is Sam Witwicky.
Right.
Number 4, well, Shia LaBeouf, and there's 4 where Wahlberg was in.
It's the one where the dude had the Romeo and Juliet law card.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. He goes into an old movie theater.
If that is not Michael Bay putting in something in the movie being like, it's all right that I date younger women. Like, I don't know.
But that wasn't the thing I was going to bring up, though. Where they go into an old rundown theater, because I think it's in the city the Transformers had destroyed. And they were talking about how no one sees movies anymore. And the guy who owned the theater was like, yeah, all movies are today are loud, crappy blockbusters. So like basically they're saying, they're like acknowledging the fact that no one likes, like everyone complains about these movies.
Yeah, but people keep going to see them.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I'm guilty of that. There's not a single Transformers movie I haven't seen in theaters yet.
Well, would that be like the what X-Men movie was it? It's not First Class.
No, it's not. It's Apocalypse, I think.
Where like they come out of Return of the Jedi and they're like, yeah, the third movie always sucks.
Oh no, so that had been.
Oh, that's
Would that have been?
So
Apocalypse?
second one was Last Stand. The third one was the one where they did the Phoenix storyline.
It was the one before that.
The one before the Phoenix storyline. That's Last Stand.
First Class.
No.
You guys are putting First Class way further in the X-Men storyline. Like,
No,
it's like
talking
movie
about,
7 or 8.
No,
It was
talking about the new.
It was
the
that.
new group.
It was that trilogy.
Oh,
It was
okay.
First Class, and
Apocalypse.
No,
it
one
Apocalypse was
Days
the-
of Future Past.
Days of Future. Yeah, Days of Future Past. Then
And
it would have been Apocalypse.
it was the Apocalypse one.
And then it would have been.
Well, Apocalypse came.
Maybe
Apocalypse was the last one of the series.
No, it
No,
was
the Phoenix
Dark
one.
Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix was the last one of the
I
series.
thought Phoenix came before
No,
Apocalypse.
because Dark Phoenix is what killed Apocalypse.
Yeah, because Jean taps into the Phoenix Force.
Fair enough.
So it
Apocalypse
was-
and
Like, it
Phoenix
shows
were
how bad it was if
Yeah.
we can't even, like, I think
It was
the Dark
the
Phoenix
Apocalypse one.
it was like the week out before, like, oh, I didn't know this movie was coming out.
I wonder if I've even seen that one.
Like,
It's got Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse.
Well, I know I've seen Apocalypse because it's got
Oh, yeah.
Olivia Munn as Psylocke.
Psylocke, yeah.
Damn,
She had to get lubed up to get in that suit.
I want that job.
He got lubed up.
Anyway, okay. We're going to
until your hands are dried and cracked from all the lube.
according to
That's why
I
It's
know it doesn't
water-based.
make any sense.
No, you just use water based. It keeps that from happening.
according to yardbarker.com.
Oh, that's
Yard
you-
Barker?
You got to give it that hot. Tuh.
yeah.
The 20 wait. The 20 most
Oh my God, we jumped the shark when we started using sound effects.
Right? Hey, did you notice how much better those sound than when we were on the
They're really
first episode of
quiet.
Reason?
We should turn them up.
The 20 most infamous jumping the shark moments.
Okay.
We mentioned some of these. Scrubs, most of season 9.
All of season 9.
Oh, okay.
Well,
How many
Season
seasons,
9.
How many seasons were in Scrubs?
9.
No,
Oh, okay.
8. We
There-
don't talk
8
about season
seasons.
9.
I will say
Scrubs-
this for season
Scrubs
9.
College was something different.
The first episode of season 9, I would say, had some points that I did like. And that was, things aren't always going to be the same. And that was like what the show, like, it's what they was trying to say with that first episode. Because JD finds out that when he's not there, that Turk and Dr. Cox are really good friends and whatnot. So it had a good first episode, I think, but after that, it's completely just gone.
See, some shows just need to end on a high note. Like, I'm rewatching Futurama. It could have ended with the...
That wasn't their choice, though.
No, but, like, the first time they got canceled, the ending they had, they could have perfectly ended it there. The second time, I think it was the third time they got canceled, they could have left it at that ending, and it would have been perfectly fine.
But didn't Scrubs jump the shark way before that? Because the show was always funny, but it was, like, realistically funny, and then it just became, like, really goofy funny.
Because didn't they make one of the main characters, like, completely fictional? Like, it was just...
Yeah,
the janitor...
Brendan Fraser, wasn't he not
That
there?
was a hallucination.
He wasn't a main character.
Oh.
He was like a hallucination.
No,
for
it
one
was
episode.
the other way around. The janitor, originally, concept-wise, was supposed to be entirely fictional and inside JD's head.
Right.
But he was so popular that he actually became a real dude. So I will say jumping the shark moment is where they decided to have a Caribbean episode where they go to the janitor's wedding.
Where he marries Lady.
Yes. So I say that could be considered a jump the shark, but at the same time, if you knew the janitor, it sort of made sense.
Well, then JD like knocks up somebody and has a kid. And I don't think you ever see the kid.
No, you see the kid.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I mean, do you see the kid as much as Ross saw his kid in Friends?
Well, they explain it that the girl he got pregnant moved away and decided for some reason not to tell him that she had told him she lost the baby. Come to find out, no, she kept the baby and was wanting to do it by herself. And then so...
Well, if she would have done it by herself, then they wouldn't have had a baby.
Yeah, so... They don't get back together. It's what causes the original reason for him leaving Sacred Heart in the final season, because he then moved...
So you admit that season 8 is the final season.
I agree. It should be the final season.
No, it is the final season.
It is the final season for John Dorian.
No, it's the final season.
His name's John Dorian?
John Dorian.
So it's not JD something, it's just John Dorian?
JD stands for John Dorian.
Right, but I thought JD was his first name and he had a last name.
No, he's just a nickname that everybody calls him.
Okay. Does anyone watch Designing Women?
Yes,
No.
all the time.
Scootaloo right along. Will and Grace when Leo was introduced.
I have
know
no
who
idea
that
who
is.
that is.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Roseanne when the family won the lottery.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah,
Isn't
The whole point of Roseanne was that they were like on the struggle bus and they won the lottery and became millionaires.
And
But then don't you find out that it's all...
it's all bullshit the next season, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
then they show that like they retcon it where John died during the heart attack in season 4.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
everything
know.
past that was Roseanne writing books.
Yeah, I just knew the
And
ending.
I don't know why, but she came to him having the heart attack, and that's what was related to an affair, because it felt like an affair because he left me or something like that. And they did away with that entire thing when they tried to do the reboot, right?
Yeah, how did they explain that away?
I have no idea. It didn't matter. The show got
I mean,
canceled.
I never watched...
No, it's still going. But it's called the Coopers or something. Now,
The
right?
Connors.
It's
Connors.
still going?
I think so, isn't it? That's the
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I never watched it.
I didn't even know it got off the ground, like because there was a lot of controversy around Roseanne Barr at the time.
It had started, and then and then they killed her off, I think.
Oh, really?
I think. I'm not
Okay.
100% sure.
Moving on to another controversial show. It turns out everyone in the show is not a good person. Glee. When Rachel and Kirk moved to New York. We look like a Glee fan.
I remember that. Like, wasn't the whole point of following high school students in a Glee club at school? So when you start focusing on everything that wasn't surrounding that school, you didn't want to let those characters go, so you decided to follow them.
Yeah,
Like-
I never
creepy.
watched that movie.
Yeah, and Next Step did it way better, in my opinion.
Yeah, so it's...
Ooh, I'm going to say one.
Okay.
Saved by the Bell when they went on their summer jobs.
Oh, at the beach?
Yeah.
Nah, man, that was a good. That had a pre-King of Queens lady on it.
You can't even remember her name?
Now, what's her name?
I think it's like Leah Remini.
Leah Remini. Wasn't she in that season?
Yeah.
Was she the dude's daughter?
Yeah.
AC
Friggin'
AC
Tiffany Amber Thiesen's way hotter.
AC Slater called Jesse Terminator 3, and now there is a Terminator 3. Isn't that weird? I'm just saying. Okay, I couldn't come up with a joke.
Or Saved by the Bell Hawaiian style.
Yeah, that one sucked.
Is that Saved by the Bell with ham and pineapple?
Now, Tyler.
Don't do it, Tyler. Don't do it.
Okay, moving to another now
Do you
controversial.
want to hear about a Nazi knock-knock joke?
I tried to do it last night.
Viva ask the questions.
I tried.
That 70s show when Eric and Kelso left.
Oh yeah, Kelso had a
But
baby
Kelso
with
never
a
really
one-night
left.
stand.
He kept coming back. Like he wasn't on it constantly.
Why
Like
did they
Eric
get-
legitimately left.
Why did Eric leave?
Within the show?
Well, in both reasons.
He went to
Africa
he joined
to
like the
teach.
Peace Corps to go to Africa when he was supposed to marry Donna, and then they filled it with
Seth Meyers.
one of the Myers,
Or Josh Myers. Or,
one of them,
Let me see.
and like he stayed in the room, like Eric's room, like it was like, hey, rather than let's just say that you're Eric and let's just recast the character.
Yeah, he had this. The only thing that was different, he had the same manner, like speech patterns. They just made him like more lady manish.
Yeah.
Which, it's, I do my best to separate reality from the show, but like I can still watch Tom Cruise movies even though he's kind of a weirdo. I have a hard time going back and watching the 70s show after Masterson's crap.
Oh. Yeah.
What, my original question: why?
Oh, and then Topher Grace left to make movies. He felt like the show had run its creative course, and there was nothing left. And he wanted the show to end. They didn't want the show to end, so he asked if he could leave to go make movies. And then he made Spider-Man 3, and went a date with Tad Hamilton.
He's been in a few other things, but
No,
never.
but
has
no, I
a-
mean, I mean that's what he left to go make.
he left the show to make Spider-Man 3.
Well, he was supposed to be Venom.
I mean, I would leave Damage Control Podcasting to go be Venom.
You know, I get that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That makes sense.
Call me Sony. I'm just as
It just-
good looking as Tom Hardy.
And it might have been a different story
Better.
if that movie
Better
had been
looking.
like more epic.
That
And
movie's
I'm
coming
already
up
used to
later,
using
so save
plural
your thoughts on
pronouns
it.
because of all the voices in my head.
This one may be for everyone, but I know Tyler. Sherlock, when Sherlock went back to Victoria, England on a drug trip.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking weird.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch that show?
I haven't.
did.
That was part of
Was
series.
that the Cumberbatch?
Cumberbatch, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was like series 3, 4. I haven't finished that one. Like I said, that was the episode I watched, and I was kind of like, this is what's going on type of thing. So I think that it wasn't bad. It was just kind of like one of those.
The whole point of the show was to have a modern day Sherlock.
Because the episode that just happened before that was he had met Moriarty, but this was like another type of Moriarty, I guess, that he couldn't defeat, and he was like going to blackmail a whole bunch of people. And the very last shot was Sherlock shooting the guy in the head.
Okay.
And then you go to this, and everyone, or at least I was like, this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Is Elementary still on?
I don't think so.
I think it got canceled, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
I just think in general, like, anytime that you have a major character shift in a movie or a TV show, you've jumped the shark. So, like, you know, we're talking about Topher Grace leaving that 70s show. You have, like, that. Like, the seasons of Spartacus, where they had to change the Spartacus actor. The season 3 and 4 were both bad. And then anytime that you also get like when House switched his entire support staff, like all of that,
yeah.
it really started the decline of that show. And then you have like when you have characters with a romantic tension, that you finally resolve that romantic tension and they end up together. Like when Bones and David Boreanaz's character get together.
Bones.
Sarah was talking about Castle. So you have Castle and the detective. Like, they don't get together until like season 5. Spoilers, Adam. I know you were watching it. And like right after that, it was like, okay, this isn't nearly as fun because there's no sexual tension between the two.
Right.
And then it's episode after episode, like, oh no, the one I love is in mortal danger. I have to save her from now on.
Right, 'cause that's exactly
House
what
and
happened.
Cuddy.
House and Cuddy. That's what happened with Flash and Iris
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
Flash show.
Why
Absolutely.
didn't Cuddy come back for the last season?
Oh. Did you know that the chick that played their kid, I forgot her superhero name, in The Flash, she is naked a lot in the show Black Sails.
Well, I know what I'm going to be binging tonight.
Okay, does any of us watch House of Cards?
I watched the first couple seasons with
I
my
bet
mom,
you did, you sick fuck.
and then the whole shit, well, what he was doing came out, and then I haven't been back, but I do know that they basically dropped him and made his wife the main character, right?
Well, the Jumping the Shark
Is
was
that a Kevin Spacey show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They say the Jumping the Shark moment was when Frank became president.
Spoilers.
Oh, okay, all right.
Well, isn't the whole idea of that is that he wants all the fucking power in the world because he's that? So that doesn't seem like jumping the shark. That just shows...
I think it was the struggle to get the power was the show.
Yeah,
not-
I think
not
it's
when
the
he got it.
chase. Because, I mean, that's the thing, is that with a lot of these jumping the shark moments, it's the chase has been resolved. Because, like, in that one, he's chasing the presidency, and he gets it. In Glee, they're chasing their graduation, and they get it. The chase of the romantic interest. Like, the chase is interesting. You have to make the resolution of that chase near the end of the show, or you have to make that
The
resolution interesting.
penultimate episode.
Right.
Well, I can see that because the chase became like, oh, I have the highest position of power in this country became, oh, I got to make certain I win next time so I keep my position of power.
Right, like, so whatever that resolution is, and this is something going back into, like, if you really delve into, like, the way the WWE books things, the chase is always far more interesting. Specifically, if you're looking at, if I'm going to nerd out here for a minute, if you look at, like, the build-up for Cody Rhodes to winning the Universal Championship, like, people were so incredibly invested in him. Like there was the We Want Cody movement and just crazy investment in him chasing the title, and then he got the title, and less than a month later they're like, Cody Rhodes' reign is boring, he hasn't done anything with it. Like, he just got his ass kicked at WrestleMania, give him a minute to cook with it. But, like, the fans will move on a dime when the chase is done, but they're hooked, line, and sinker during the chase.
There are definitely. I agree 100%, but there are definitely a few exceptions, like Stone Cold.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But you gotta have the charisma to main. Not that Cody doesn't. But
Well, yeah, you have to make
have charisma.
You have to make the getting and holding interesting. And some shows can do that really well. Some shows can't. And Cody's doing fine. People are just critical because people are critical.
Well, I think a lot of the problem is, so you have the chase, the good part,
right?
So then you resolve that, and then you're like, well, we want to keep going. So then you have to make another chase, and you've got to like step it up like 10 extra layers,
right?
So like Bones, you have the overlying storyline. Towards the end, it was like there was a J. Edgar Hoover conspiracy theory that was
right.
like they broke into their house, and Booth is like this one man, taking out these special ops, like people that were controlling the government. You're like, I just want you to solve murders, man. That's
right.
Like, I just want a boring show, villain of the week. Oh, they did it. I figured it out. Like,
Supernatural, as much as I love that show, is also real bad about upping the stakes in their chase.
It is.
Right?
It is very bad.
Yeah, because like the whole first season is like random monsters, and then one demon is a threat. Mm-hmm. And then like by the time season 5 rolls around, they're slaughtering rooms of demons, and they're trying to punch God in the face.
Well, see, and then that's what people have pointed out. Castiel, he has this badass entrance and is this badass for like another 2 or 3 seasons.
He's a Constantine knockoff, right?
Shut up.
Basically.
And like he used to go into like a room full of demons and like smite them all, and then towards like season 10 he's like, oh, I can't do it. Like, everything's a struggle, and it's like you've fought the epitome of darkness. Like, what do you mean? Like, it just got to a point where it was like, you've reached the top. You can't go up any higher.
Right. And you speaking of Castiel reminds me, like, that's another, like, really common jumping the shark trope, is that when you take a good guy and turn him bad for whatever reason. Because, like, that was the season I stopped watching Supernatural, was the season where Castiel ended up being the bad guy.
Oh, season 7?
Right. So then, like, when you have, like, that sudden shift in morality from a character, especially when it goes from good guy to evil, that is a real turnoff, because usually you end up having to retcon some of their past actions to justify why they've always been a bad guy. Because like they do that with True Blood as well, when they try and make Eric a bad guy, and he was always he was not Eric, Bill being the bad guy, because Eric. See, and this is going to be kind of weird. I almost prefer to have the villain redemption arc versus the hero falling arc. Because, like, Eric turning into a good guy was a lot easier and more palpable to me than Bill becoming a bad guy in True Blood.
I can agree with that.
Or, like, Vampire Diaries. It was easier to get Damien, seeing him become a good guy, versus his brother, who was boring as shit, turning into a bad guy.
I thought you were going to say the Cousin Oliver trope.
Oh, which one's that?
It's where, so in like the final season of the Brady Bunch, they were like ratings were going down. They're like, all right, these kids aren't cute anymore. We need to introduce a younger, cuter kid.
Oh, Raven Simone and the Cosby Show too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I thought you were relating the introduction of Castiel as like the Cousin Oliver, like adding another character that you cared for type of.
I think there's definitely potential there with Castiel, but Castiel, they wrote him so well and interesting, and he fits the two Winchester brothers so well that I wouldn't call him that situation. I think there's definitely potential there if they drop the ball on the writing, but the way that they wrote the stories and the way they wrote the his character in particular, I think he kind of gets the wash from that one.
Okay, well, all right. Let me throw this out there. Talking about alliances shifting and everything. What about, because I really liked it, John Locke being like mysterious to good to bad. What he was doing was bad, and then Ben Linus being part of the Dharma Initiative and then turning out to be more of a pawn, and you kind of felt sorry for him. Jack always being the hero, but then not being very good at it and struggling. And then ultimately doing that badass Superman punch on John Locke in the season finale.
But John Locke wasn't really evil. He becomes the Man in Black.
Right,
Man in
but
Black
we
takes
didn't
over.
we didn't know that at first. So we were following Locke, and
What show are we talking about?
Lost.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
No.
Oh shit. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
So,
It's-
I'm not
spoilers.
planning.
It's a decades old show.
You should. It's actually
It's-
really
Yeah,
good.
it's really good.
Like if
Dude.
if it comes up, I'm not going out of my way to see
You
it.
need-
You should.
if-
It's really good.
If you watch it, just watch it. Don't like put it on and like try and do something else at the same time.
That is true. There's absolutely no way you can ADHD through that show.
I tried to watch the show with my dad because he got me like obsessed with it. My dad can't stay awake for anything. Like he fell like there's a scene where like an island fucking just disappears. Like you see like the little bloop. My dad fell asleep, woke up. He's like, "Where'd the fucking island go?" Like that. So if you're gonna watch it, just
Pay
watch
attention.
it. Just watch it. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like you didn't know, but I think that was kind of something just kind of related just to Lost, because you had in a show that I've seen where you hadn't had that many main characters. Like I've seen shows with big ensembles,
Game of Thrones?
but that was before Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where like it was, you were watching all of these. I mean, there's at least 16 people in that
Oh, easy.
main
yeah.
cast.
There's a ton of them.
Yeah, it got
I
even
mean-
bigger when they discovered the others.
I mean, and you're watching all these different things. To me, it was kind of like trying to keep everything straight, and you're like, well, maybe he wasn't a good guy. Like, Locke changing. I'm like, maybe he was playing the long con from the entire time. Maybe he wasn't good. I mean, and it was just something, because it was, you notice something every single episode. It was, I guess, in my head, I was like, all right, well, maybe I missed something on the first watch through, that he was bad the entire time. And now this is just the pulling back the curtain, him like, gotcha, like I was the bad guy all along.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference between a good payoff and a bad payoff. Because, like, through that entire thing, like, if you're going to do a big reveal like that, you should be able to see the puzzle pieces come together. Like, you should be able to go back in time and rewatch it and go, oh, here we go. I see where this is now. This person is evil. And they didn't do that. It was, season whatever rolled around, and they're like, we need to make a character bad guy at the dartboard, and, oh, we'll make Locke the bad guy. And then...
justify the actions later.
Right. And that's bad. And Lost had the perfect opportunity. If they had a well-thought-out plan, you could put those pieces together. Because every episode they were showing you a little bit more and putting those pieces in a little bit different places and explaining that character a little bit better. And I think no character fell as flat as Hurley did for me. I loved Hurley so much, and for those of you who may not remember, he's the bigger, heavier set lottery winner guy. And
like I do know that, like, he won the lottery on the plane, crashed.
Well, yeah, just bad shit happens to him
Yeah.
after he wins the lottery, and I thought that was a really interesting concept. And he ends up winning it a second time, I think. And that's when the plane crashes or something like that, because he's coming back from Australia. I don't remember exactly. But the thing is that, like, the character arc was Sawyer was accusing him of hoarding food. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, I'm down 3 belt sizes. I'm a big fucking dude. It's going to take me a minute. And then, like, 3 seasons later, they show that he's hoarding food. And I'm like, that's frustrating. Like, that was such a, like such a good fuck you bully kind of moment, like such strong fuck you energy, and it's like, oh no, he was right.
That may have been because the actor wasn't losing weight. Not that they asked him to lose weight. I think it was just not that it was the most realistic show anyway. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the part that was necessary for movie magic or whatever, but it was just a disappointing factor for his character.
Number 10, Game of Thrones Gendry's run. I don't know what that is.
Who's Gendry?
Oh, he's one of Robert Baratheon's bastards.
Oh, was he the Smith?
Yeah.
Okay.
They made a joke where, like, he rose off, like, Davos frees him and, like, he rose off into the sunset and then, like, disappears for like 4 seasons and then comes back, and they're like I think Jimmy Kimmel did it where he's like, yeah, I was rowing for 3 fucking seasons. But they're like trapped beyond the wall, and like he has to like run back to I think it's Eastwatch, and like it's like miles and miles through fucking snowy terrain with White Walkers everywhere, and
he gets there in like record time.
Yeah, it's part of the whole thing where it's like you built this show up to where like it's a fantasy world, so no, not everything's realistic, but it's like, going from Winterfell to King's Landing, like they show like this trip has taken months, things have happened along the way. And then
was this in the final season?
Yes, this was in the final season. It's like, now to get from Winterfell to King's Landing, it's like 2 days. Like there's no even like exposition dump where it's like, yeah, we've been traveling for months. It's just like, nope.
We found a dragon and it floated me there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's no. I mean, hell. I mean, it's a fantasy realm. You're not even like, oh yeah, this mage appeared and transported me here. It's just like, well, I walked out the door and here I am, type of thing.
Let me ask you guys this, since we're almost in an hour and I'm trying to keep us under a certain time. I still got some more TV. Do you want to? Because I would like to get to movies. Do you guys?
Let's.
You all want to stick on TV and then we'll do movies later
in different episodes. How many more of the TVs do we got?
We're on 11, but I'm going to just jump to the ones that I know we're fans of.
Yeah, yeah. Why don't you just run through this list and then
go to the movies?
Go. Yeah. Game of Thrones run.
All right. Okay.
Get it?
Number
That was
11.
That was a callback.
Dexter, when Deb found out Dexter was a serial killer.
Well, now I found out that I actually am watching Dexter right now.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, again, I think that goes with the morality shift or like the chase. Like the chase in Dexter is that he's hiding from the sister who's the CSI agent. Same thing with you. Like
me.
Yeah.
I could not get into
I've
that
never
show.
been-
I
discovered.
really liked it, but
I tried to like it, but I felt so I felt
He
dirty
related.
every time
He's
I
like,
watch
I
it.
relate to this. Way
No,
too much."
every time I watch that show, I'm like, I feel just dirty and gross.
The girl that you had locked in that glass compartment down in your basement didn't like it.
Well, yeah, that's why it was hard to sell the house.
So this one, the next one, I think we mentioned it on whatever topic our last one was, or at least I know Daniel's mentioned it before. But
Maybe.
Buffy, when Buffy was resurrected.
yeah, that was a big disappointing part. Like, I mean, getting Buffy to die, like, you're just going to kill the show. I don't know if I would call it the jumping the shark moment. Dawn was almost kind of more like that. It was more of a Cousin Oliver kind of situation. But yeah, like, she had such a good death, and then... But they did the resurrection right. Because when they resurrected her, everyone thought, oh, we're doing the right thing. She's dead. We're going to pull her out of hell. She's going to be so happy to be here. And they yanked her from heaven.
And she come
was-
back like Ra's al Ghul, like all fucking crazy for a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Why
Like,
was
she was
in hell?
miserable.
Or why did they think she was in hell?
Because she died closing like a god portal to hell. So they thought, okay, well, she gets sucked into hell because that's like where her spirit would have been or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And like, we gotta save her. And then no, like, she died through a noble sacrifice and was in heaven. And they ripped her out of heaven.
Tyler, this one's for you. Grey's Anatomy, the musical episode.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
Also, maybe for you, Once Upon a Time, when the first season ended. What happened there?
Once Upon a Time at the end of the first
Once Upon a
season
Time.
wasn't bad. The jumping the shark moment there was when they all left the village and was in Manhattan. For me,
It was just because they didn't have like every single season. First of all, they did the Part A and Part B storylines, which I didn't like. But
It says, unfortunately, I mean, maybe this is what you guys are saying. Unfortunately, the breaking of the spell at the end of the first season was, in its own way, a jumping the shark.
yeah, I guess I didn't realize. I thought that happened later, but there was a season where they leave the village and everyone goes to like back to Manhattan or New York, and then they all have to find their own bullshit reasons to come back to the village.
it's just because, like I said, I don't think it was season 1. It was just they tried to cram as many things in there. I would say when they went to Camelot or when they introduced Hades, like they were just like
They was grabbing every Disney property
like
that they could and throwing
Frozen had like just come out and they're like, put it in there.
Yeah.
Make
So
it happen.
who was behind the spell?
Which one? They literally every single season it was someone casting a spell.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All
Like,
Like-
the only one that made sense was the first one. Like the first one was a long con that all the pieces are sorted out a special way. And then to me the rest of them are just like, yeah, we're just gonna toss all this stuff in here. Oh, look, an Easter egg. Maybe no one will notice, like type of thing.
Yeah, I didn't mind the branching out like into Camelot and Wonderland, and they went to Agrabah at one point, and like that didn't bother me so much. It definitely was the like you were talking about with like the weak storylines.
Like I thought the Neverland. I thought that was. I like that one.
Yeah, Neverland was fine.
The evil Peter Pan.
Yeah. I think one of the things that, again, kind of following in with a lot of what these tropes are saying is when you have, again, the chase. Because the chase in Once Upon a Time was, we're stuck in this village, we can't leave. And then you end the chase at the end of the first season for that big shock value. The spell's down, now what's going to happen? To dwell up all this season 2. But if you don't have a plan for season 2, it's just like, okay, we're going to do this thing, get a big shock value, and then we're going to have all summer break to figure out what we're going to do. And then it's like 2 weeks before the homework's due. Oh, we haven't worked at this at all.
And then like towards the end, like they switched it where like all the good guys became bad guys and all the bad guys were good guys, and it seemed like they're like, we're out of ideas.
We're trying to keep it alive.
Someone give me something.
How many seasons did it run?
4?
No, they went to like 8.
Did they?
Yeah.
I stopped watching very...
Like, they had, like, a villain's arc where, like, the villains were trying to become the heroes and were trying to destroy everything. Like,
Yeah, because they were going for their happy endings or
yeah,
whatever.
like, I could probably find something
7.
good in
You were
most
close, 7.
most seasons. Like, I think the overall arching thing, I think they just had hard, like, they knew the arcs that they wanted to do, but they didn't know how to fill in from A to B after season 1, at least, in my opinion.
I think that's absolutely fair.
Daniel, go ahead.
Oh, and then the author arc was bad.
Yeah.
The where you have the little kid that turns into the author with the God's quill or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, did they do what's his face from end of the where all the TV shows are connected in that one
Timothy
universe?
Westfall.
Man, that would have been badass. You've mentioned this one several times in this episode alone. True Blood, when Suki was revealed to be a fairy.
No, that was fine. Because she always had these magical powers, and they just never...
Yeah, they're called boobies.
But, I mean, they needed to explain it.
She's naked a lot in that show.
She is naked a lot in that show.
Adam. Boobies.
She's naked a lot in that show. I'm actually going to be rewatching it here in the near future, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, like, no, the fairy thing was fine. Like, I didn't mind her being a fairy, and, like,
Well, hell no, it's 2024.
Yeah. But, like, they even, like, call attention to that when she's like, I'm a fucking fairy. Like, that...
Oh, they hung a lampshade on it?
They put a lampshade on it, yeah. So I don't see that jump in the shark in that moment. Because you had to explain her powers.
Okay.
You couldn't just be like, oh, she's magical. No, you have to give her a purpose. You have to give her a reason.
Do you feel like maybe it was them not wanting to do a tire trope like, oh, she's just a witch?
Well, actually,
and they try to go with something more
Well, because
exotic?
they did a witch as a storyline.
Oh.
And they, like, their powers were way different.
And,
like,
well,
her powers were unique.
And also, apparently, it's the characters that way in the books. So it wasn't like...
Oh, there's books?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Sookie
She's
Stackhouse
not
Chronicles.
naked in the books.
Oh.
At least there's some pictures.
Yeah. Like, you could do... I think what was more jumping the shark there is how many fairies she then ran into after that. Because, like,
her
she
car?
was... Well, yeah. But she was, like, unique and no one... Like, she just didn't know. And then...
Oh, Jeff from down the street happens to be a fairy as well.
Not quite that, but yeah, like, she was in a hotel, and then randomly the guy who's the bag carrier in the hotel is also a fairy. And she's like, oh, you're a
Dude's
fairy,
a fairy
too?
and he can't be anything more than a bag carrier?
Right, like...
Are there, you know how, like,
Well, I guess she's a waitress.
like
so.
a male witch is a
Warlock.
warlock. What's a male fairy? Just a fairy too?
Yeah, they just call him a fairy.
Oh, okay.
Anyone seen Grimm?
Yeah.
Oh, one season of it, yeah.
Okay, I think Grimm jumped the shark.
That when they ran out of money, or they was like, okay, we're getting canceled this season. So the last episode decided to just do a drastic at the end cliffhanger where it goes like 30 years into the future to show their kids are still continuing on and stuff.
Well, the jump the shark was when they made his fiance into like the super evil character, and then they made the super evil character into the good guy, and then, like you were saying, the drastic allegiance switch, and then towards the end they were like Game of Thrones again. Like, they were just like, they're like, this is where we want to end, we're gonna sprint there, and we're not gonna fill, like, the whole point was that they find these keys and then they don't end up figuring out what's in it until like the very end of the show, and then it's like, okay, now what? Fuck, now we're out of shit, we lost our footing. Okay, just fill it in.
Was Grimm in the Sleepy Hollow universe?
No.
They
No,
didn't
Bones
cross
was.
over. Bones was in the Sleepy Hollow universe?
Bones was in
They
the
had a
Sleepy-
crossover episode.
Yep.
Was it a Halloween episode?
I have no idea, but it is in the universe, and Family Guy is in the Bones universe as well.
Speaking of weird universes, off topic, I'll make it real quick. Speaking of weird universes, the Michael Bay Transformer universe is in the Friday the 13th remake universe,
Didn't you already tell us this?
as well as it's in one other universe. Fuck.
That's
Oh,
why
wasn't it like
Michael
My
keeps-
Bloody Valentine or something like that?
No, it's not a horror movie.
Oh.
It's like a weird. It's something you would never guess. There's
So that's why Michael keeps getting in the way of stuff. Everybody's too distracted by the giant fucking robots destroying cities that care about the small town murders.
Crap, I can't.
Did you say Michael?
Michael Bay. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, you said
Jason. It's Jason from Friday the 13th.
My apologies. They're both.
Oh my God.
Michael looks through a window, and when he looks through a window, it's like
that Michael's looking out right now.
The one that's a circle.
Yes.
And it's supposed to represent.
I've been meaning.
So
I've been meaning to go through that episode and clip that audio out and make like a small little video, but I keep forgetting to do it.
Yeah. So if you're curious about that fact that Adam was talking about, that was actually in one of our Dead Air episodes that you could find on YouTube and SoundCloud. Make sure you check it out. It's one of the Transformer Dead Air episodes.
Now but there's another.
I'm trying to find it.
Okay. Any other before we move on to movies? Is there any other TV shows?
Is there anything on the list that you think is relevant?
Not. We already mentioned the other ones.
Okay.
We're good. We still got like 30 minutes.
All right.
I try not to go over 90 minutes.
Okay. I think the movies will go a little bit faster.
Okay. So, what's it called? It has technically it's still called jumping the shark, but Reddit or the internet or whatever you want to call it has coined a different phrase for jumping the shark in movie franchises.
Oh, I don't know what that's called.
Tyler should know this one. I know it's his favorite.
Nuking the fridge.
Nuking the fridge.
Oh, nuking the fridge. Okay, yeah.
I had to think. I was like, all right, he's pointing at me. I was like, oh, nuking the fridge.
Nice.
Nuking the fridge.
So before I go to my list, I think I got our favorite website.
Moviepoopshoot.com.
No, Ranker. Okay, I don't have that one. Okay. Do we have any off? Transformers. Did you like the first one at all?
It was all right, but not really.
So it nuked the fridge right off the bat.
I mean, to me, the nuking the fridge moment was
hiring Michael Bay.
Well, no, it was Bumblebee pissing on the Section 7 agent.
Totoro. Was it John?
Yeah,
that literally that or the testicles on Devastator.
Oh yeah.
In movie 2,
the racist Tom Kenny Autobot.
The racist Autobot.
Oh, is that the one Bumblebee despined at the end where he's like?
No, they were
no,
they were like
guys.
Two separate. Didn't they come together to make one car?
At the very beginning, yeah, they were like two halves. It was Mudflap and Skids, maybe, and they were two halves of an ice cream truck, and then they got their own own thing.
Like one's got a gold tooth, and it's like, "Hey man, don't like." It was.
I think it was fine until they got to the point. I can't read, man. I was like, what the fuck?
Of course, you thought they were fine until that point.
You know what?
I'm not convinced I know how to read. I just feel like I memorize a lot of words.
I feel like you steal a lot of things from New Girl.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't believe in dinosaurs. I've seen the science. I don't believe it.
Is there any other? So I would say though I have a particular one. Men in Black 2 is a good example. Like I think movie franchises jump to sharks when like Ghostbusters, Men in Black 1, really gritty and dirty. Like the city, like it's realistic in what it is, and then in the second movie they get a little more
too comedic.
Well, they get more of a budget and everything, like the grittiness and the validity of the reality that they created in the first one. It just becomes like a whatever.
Right, like kind of like the Bat credit card and Batman 3.
Yeah.
Or the Bat nipple suit.
No, that was you're right.
3.
You're right.
His young. He needed that suit to feed his young.
At least I think it was 3.
Dick Grayson was
the
like
credit card was in Batman and Robin.
No,
was that 4?
No, that was Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
the nipples. The nipples was in 3.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, because 3 was Two-Face and Riddler.
Schumacher did 3.
No, I think the credit card and the Bat nipple suit is the Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze one, because the credit card is like how. No,
nipples was 3.
The Poison Ivy was the credit card.
Right.
I know Poison Ivy was the credit card.
3 was nipples because when they brought Batgirl and everyone's like, oh my god, they're going to have but then they took the nipples off of Clooney and Robin's suit because they couldn't obviously put nipples on the Batgirl
But
suit.
you got the butt shot.
Yeah, but you got the butt shot.
Hell yeah, you did.
Any other, any other franchise real quick before I go to the list?
Indiana Jones.
What about
Terminator 3 when they got rid of all of the phase what you make bullshit.
Yeah.
And they just said, like,
Yeah,
oh no.
Fate's inevitable.
Nope,
it's
you're
inevitable.
you're not going nowhere.
Yep, fuck
Yeah,
you.
this wasn't to stop Judgment Day. This is so you could survive it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll go to the...
Judgment Day in T3 was July 25th.
Interesting.
According to Ranker.com, 16 ridiculous moments where a giant franchise officially jumped a shark, a.k.a. nuke the fridge. Okay, number one. Escape from L.A. Anyone like that movie?
I like the movie.
Okay.
Never seen it.
When Snake and Pipeline chase a car by riding a giant CGI wave.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
Was
Escape from New York was better.
Okay, what wasn't one supposed to be serious and one was supposed to be like...
Yeah, New York was very serious and gritty, and L.A. was very comical.
All right, number two. I think it was way before this, but Furious 7, when a car jumps from one skyscraper to another skyscraper.
That's pretty ridiculous. But isn't there one where they like shot a car into space had to survive re-entry or something?
That was 9. I think.
What's the one where like The Rock like kicks a torpedo skating on ice or something?
That's 8.
Okay.
I think it's when like 3. Not that they were good movies, but 1 and 2 were about realistic crime. 3 was again about car.
But Tokyo Drift, right?
Drift.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when they took it and they became like super secret agents and like.
Well, what about the one where, two cars are going to be able to work in tandem to just pull a safe off a fucking truck?
That's 5. That's 5.
Then they're just
6.
dragging a safe with nothing, no wheels or nothing. They're just dragging on the street. Like 2 super powered cars going to be enough to drag that thing without fucking getting stopped on the first thing it fucking latches on.
But I think it jumped it even before then. So 4, I don't quite remember what the plot is, but that's when...
Is that Fast and Furious?
I don't remember.
If it's Fast and Furious, that's when they infiltrate people running drugs from Mexico to the U.S.
But the one I'm talking about is the one where Michelle Rodriguez isn't in it until the very end. And then the next movie is the one where they jump the shark because Vin Diesel saves her by taking his seatbelt off. And there's a big... So there's two 4-lane highways. One going traffic going this way, one going the opposite direction. And there's a big chasm in between these four he takes his seatbelt off, red lines his car, hits the concrete barrier, flies out of his windshield, flies over the gap onto the other bridge, catches Michelle Rodriguez in the air, spins around, and stops himself by hitting a windshield of an oncoming car, and gets up and goes, "Are you okay?"
Okay,
and then she goes, "Thanks, man."
Yeah, that I believe is when the franchise, because at that point, because that was before The Rock started, or maybe that was Rock's first movie. I don't remember, but that is when, I mean, they were always doing ridiculous shit before that, but that was like that's like a whole other type of Looney Tunes universe type stuff, and that's when I believe. But not the sad thing, but it worked because at that point in time, that's when the movies started making $1 billion, right?
Right. Yeah. Like
I think Dom died in the first movie when he got hit by the train, or like he's left brain dead, and the rest of the movies are him just in a coma, just like playing out what he thinks happened.
All right. Okay.
Well, I don't know about that, but
no, go ahead.
Who was the cop's name?
Brian Mills or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely could be the case because he dies after season 2, doesn't he, or movie 2?
No, he's in.
He left
4,
at like 7.
He's 4. No, he's like at 4 or 5, and then halfway through filming 6, the actor dies.
Yeah, and then his brother fills in like they drive separate.
Yeah.
No, he died way sooner than that.
Paul Walker?
Yeah. Didn't Paul Walker die? And
he's definitely.
Anyway, I was trying to make an insensitive Paul Walker died joke.
Okay.
It did not work.
All I know is that song is still tear-wrenching.
2013 is when he died.
The one that they play, like, "Can't wait to see you again. Been a long road without you, my friend."
Oh, I thought it was "Don't Fear the Reaper."
No. What the fuck, man?
He was going to make one and he didn't do it, so I had to step in and make an insensitive joke. All right, number 3.
Oh yeah, I guess he was in Furious 7.
Oh, okay, I was wrong. He made it all the way to 7. My
thank
bad. You were mentioning this before, and I told you.
How? When he died? Did they CGI him or what?
Yeah, they had his brother step in. He's got like a twin brother that looks similar enough.
Maybe his twin brother died and he was still alive.
No, that yeah. Anyway, Spider-Man 3 when evil Peter Parker dances down the street and into the jazz club.
I loved that scene, but it was pretty fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
My fondest memory with Spider-Man 3 is sitting in the theater watching it, and it's when evil Peter Parker is like being a dick to Mary Jane, and she like slaps him twice. And there was this black chick sitting in front of me. She goes, "Bitch ass just got slapped."
Did everyone see what Tyler just did? There was a black chick sitting in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sitting in front of you.
I'm acting as the screen.
Oh, okay.
And then she slaps him again. She goes, "Bitch ass slapped his ass again."
But I mean, I am not defending Spider-Man 3 because even at that point when I didn't complain about movies, but that movie did suck. But like Peter Parker's a nerd, right? Like that's what a tough guy is to a nerd.
He's not suddenly going to get rhythm, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like he's a nerd. He's doing what nerds think. Like,
but at the same time, the symbiotes are giving him rhythm. So
I'm a fucking nerd, and even I wouldn't.
Well,
I don't care if I became an evil, anti-social person. I'm not going to start.
No, well, okay.
I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to have my hands in my pockets, and I'm going to be staring at my feet, so I don't have to talk to anybody.
My point is this: like I'm a nerd, okay, and when I act tough, when the kids are acting up, they laugh at me because, like, when I think I'm looking tough, I look like an idiot.
Because this is my impersonation of Adam acting tough. Hey, not. Dana, will you tell him to quit?
Yeah, kind of. But like that, like, I'm not defending the movie. I'm saying like I think that was just a nerd thinking that's what a tough guy looks like.
I don't. Maybe it was. Part of me like justifying that is not that's what he's acting like that because that's what he thinks a cool guy acts like. Maybe that's what he's acting like because he doesn't have something holding his inhibition back, or I'm just phrasing that wrong. But he doesn't have that thing in the back of your head that keeps him doing just whatever you want to do. It's off.
His consciousness.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's suppressing his conscience. So it's like he's acting out in all those little things that you think about in the moment that usually you would never act upon. But then he's able to just do now.
I think there were a lot of things wrong with that movie besides just that. But I think that's the one that people kind of stick to just because it's something that people remember.
Okay. Well,
that's true.
Moving on. Die Another Day when James Bond surfs a CGI tsunami.
There was a lot of fucking weird things in that movie.
Was that a Peter Bronson one or which one?
It was his last one.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
That's the one where he gets tortured in North Korea.
Yes. Yeah.
Die Another Day?
Yeah. Number 5, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of Crystal Skull when Indy survives a nuke hiding by... you guys know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, when he gets nuked in the fridge. Yeah. By no means is Indiana Jones like super realistic.
But that's a pulpy thing to do. He's based off of pulpy characters.
But if you're gonna nuke the fridge, don't. I would have been behind it if he would have climbed into the fridge, and when the dust cleared and everything, like it showed like everything in shambles, and like he like kicked open the fridge door. I would have been like, okay, I can stand behind that. But sending it flying miles and bouncing, and then like him kicking open the door.
His head would have hit the inside of that fridge so often that he wouldn't even be able to crawl out.
Also, like the radiation sickness. Like if the rest of that movie was him then dealing with radiation sickness.
No, I got an answer for that. He drank from the Holy Grail.
But so did his dad.
And then they should explain that.
The second that you cross the seal, it stops working. That's why the night never leaves.
No. So the Holy Grail works by you constantly have to have faith. And then when you drink from it, so the night he's so old because he had moments of like
doubt.
And he's like, no, fuck it. So he started drinking from it.
If he had moments of doubt, why did he stay there for 700 years?
I just said he had moments of doubt, and then he changed his mind.
No, your Holy Grail thing doesn't hold.
No, regardless, if they could have explained it.
Like I said, if they would have thrown in some line like that, I would have been like, okay, that's fine.
Right.
Yeah, what would the line
Like-
be, though? Oh, thank God I drank from that holy grail.
Yeah. Remember that last movie I was in?
Well, I mean, you could do something like, okay, so fridge explodes, Indy steps out into radiation landscape and goes, oh fuck, that was a nuke. There's radiation all about. So then, like, runs far enough away to be safe, gets naked, does the right thing, cleans himself, cleans the clothes. You see him, like, rob a clothes washing line to get new clothes on, and then, like, cut away. And the next one is him at the doctor's office, and, like, the doctor's like, no, you're fine, man. I don't see
But your prostate is huge. What are you doing?
Right, like, you're fine. There's no radiation sickness that I can see. Are you
But
sure?
don't the Russians capture them and, like, wash them up? Doesn't someone capture them?
They do that, and the
they
Americans catch them.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but you give that doctor some time to do his thing, and then reveal that Indy's fine from the radiation sickness, and then Indy's like, the next scene is him like reading about the Holy Grail. Like, you could do something as simple as that.
Well, I mean, even if you would have just like had him with a flask that said Grail water. I mean, something as
Right.
as
Was
bullshit.
it water?
Well, just GW.
What do you mean? Is it water?
I thought it was wine.
No, it's water.
Oh.
But like
No, it's not wine yet. You got to give it some time.
the whole thing, I mean, there's tons of moments of disbelief in all Indiana Jones. I mean, earlier in the movie where he like whips a beam, swings, and then catches up with a vehicle that's going 30 miles an hour and lands in it, like,
And then also
And
did
then-
a quick flip to get the whip off the beam.
yeah.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you, how do you get the... Is there like a... Do you reverse whip it? Or
I don't know.
Does that actually work? Or is it like once it gets... You just hit give
Jacques the Whip.
I imagine there's
messages.
probably a
Right.
YouTube video about it.
I mean, I don't know. I've when I use a whip, I don't usually worry about those kind of things.
I use a
I
flogger.
know, trust me.
Right?
What real...
I'm a little disturbed you went straight to your brother when you're talking about the flogger.
In the real world, what is the purpose of a whip? What is... Because it's like a boomerang. Like, boomerang's bullshit, right? Like,
Beat it.
boomerangs
Well,
are...
Boomerang was a real
the-
hunting item.
Right, but does it actually work?
Yeah.
Then
If
what
you
was
know
a-
how to use it.
Then what was
Like
a whip
the
used for?
whole returning back to whoever throws it thing is exaggerated so much.
Then what was a whip? What was originally a whip
Torture?
used for?
Torture.
Well,
That was it?
Well, maybe.
Well, that, and also it's a way for you to do like superficial damage to creatures to train them. Like, it was supposed to be like stay away from things, and you hit them to get them to do the things that you want it to do.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then they get used to that sound and that feeling, so then you don't even have to hit them. You just crack the whip in the air,
Gotcha.
and then that
Okay.
it's like a Pavlovian thing.
Okay.
And then torture was a big thing.
Yeah.
And then that became a sexual thing.
Yeah.
Do you think there was guys in like the Crusades or whatever that like were into the torture and was just
Well,
like
isn't there a whole subsect of like ritual flogging?
Well, there
Like
is.
Da Vinci
We don't
Code.
we don't call it ritualistic.
number
What?
number 6, the Lost World when Jeff Goldblum's daughter uses gymnastics to kick a raptor to death.
Not well.
I remember that.
She does, well,
Which
she doesn't
movie
really,
was this?
The second one.
Oh,
She doesn't
okay.
really kick him to death. She
She just kicks
him
it and
off
it
of
falls into like some spikes or something.
I would be okay with it if she was like swinging to get momentum, but she like literally does a whole bar routine. That's where I'd...
Like
Yeah, like, if you're gonna have like an actor with those kind of skills, you need to not exaggerate them like that. Like, doing the full thing. Like, anytime they have a wrestler in anything and they end up doing like the wrestling moves.
John
like,
John Cena did his in the latest Fast. Like I thought
the
wrestler.
AA.
I thought wrestlers were over that in movies. Like I thought that was a thing of the past. But in the latest Fast and the Furious movie, he fucking throws someone from a second story through the fucking floor onto the next floor.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like, I remember that the old show Millennium, there was a scene where a demon comes from Earth, and it's the Undertaker, and he's doing, like, the choke slam and the power bomb to kill these guys,
Now-
and the backbreaker and break someone in half.
Choke-
Like, come on.
Choke slam, I can see. That's, I mean, it's pushing it, but I can see. But yeah, but like backbreakers and shit. Yeah, that wouldn't. Anyway, sorry. Moving right along. Sorry. Go ahead.
moving right along.
Scootaloo.
you guys probably don't remember this, but I talked about it in our famous, our most popular episode, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Mike Myers, when the Cult of Thorn breaks Michael out of his county jail. I talked about that a lot, so let's not talk about it.
I thought it'd be the second one where Michael
asleep.
wasn't even fucking in it.
I think I was asleep during that
So
moment.
that was 3?
That was 3.
Okay.
This one's for Tyler. I don't know, maybe Daniel. I don't think Cody watched it. Superman 3, when synthetic kryptonite turns Superman into a petty jerk.
That was.
I only say you because you're
that
a
was
fan
pretty
of
fucking
of
weird.
Are you
Yeah,
a
that's
fan of the Reeves movies? No.
that's when
Like,
Richard Pryor's trying to
Petty
make.
Wait, did you say Keanu Reeves?
The Reeves.
Whoa. You sound more like Ed from Good Burger.
Oh,
That's the one where he can't figure out the last composition for kryptonite, so Richard Pryor makes it nicotine, and it ends up separating Christopher into good and bad.
Do they
Superman.
still do the many shades of kryptonite in the more?
Yeah.
They still do that? Okay. Number 9, Rocky 1V, that's 4. When the USSR crowd starts cheering for Rocky.
And he gives this.
That doesn't
He
seem very likely.
ruins. He ends communism.
But then he also
Yeah.
But-
Communism,
so
that's
he
right.
but he makes up for it because he gives the Taliban weapons in Rainbow 3. So he made up for it. Okay, number 10.
No, I do say Rocky 4 is my favorite Rocky. Of all of the Rockies.
Is that the one with the robot where
No.
he's like a rich soft guy and he's got like his
Oh, he's got a butler robot.
He
yeah.
gives Polly the robot, and I thought Polly and the robot like had a thing.
Oh, yeah, they hook up.
All right,
He definitely fucks the exhaust port.
Number 10, Alien Resurrection, when they make a part xenomorph clone of Ellen Ripley.
I've never seen that.
Well, it wasn't intentional, wasn't it? It was accidental because they was trying to make an Eleanor Ripley that still had a queen that they could harvest.
Yeah, that was a side effect of it.
Yeah, so it wasn't an intentional one. It was just
But
a
some-
result of fucking bad cloning.
But some would say write a better movie.
Yeah, I would say it's the scene where you like realize that Ripley has the queen in her, and now she's immune to all of the alien like.
What about
threats.
when she throws the basketball up and makes it? That actually happened apparently, according to Ron Perlman. She literally walks away from the basketball hoop, throws it, but no one believes it because it goes out of frame and it comes back in and swishes. But if you watch Ron Perlman's reaction, he looks around at Ellen Ripley and he's about to like scream and acknowledge, but they cut away. But Ron Perlman swears she fucking made that shot.
Like
I would trust Ron Perlman.
a funny similar thing in Breaking Bad, the classic scene where he throws the pizza on the roof. Apparently, they were expecting that to take like 15 takes, so they had like 15 pizzas, and he did it on the first shot.
You know, the people that own that house are pissed because people come by and throw pizzas on their fucking roof.
Number 11.
Like they got a wall up around it now.
Oh, nice.
Number 11, Live Free or Die Hard, when John McClane launches a car into a helicopter.
That didn't seem ridiculous to me. That was, I mean, it was over the top action movie, but that wasn't.
But did you like
John McClane did that so Vin could run.
But did you like Justin Long going, you just killed a helicopter? And he's like, I know, I was there.
But wasn't it like the second or the third one where like he shoots a guy with a rocket launcher and like it sends him out of the building? No, there's a deleted scene where he does. Never mind. I'm mixing.
That sounds like True Lies.
I'm adding. There was a deleted scene where that happens, but he blows him up with that. But I mixed it with that and then the ending to Kick-Ass.
Oh,
so
okay.
I added two movies together.
Okay.
I don't really like the later movies, but I fucking love their titles: Live Free or Die Hard, and what's the last one? Movie isn't very good, but the title's really awesome.
Die Hardest.
No,
Well, that was the third one.
Live Free or Die. So there's.
It was Die Hard, Die Harder, Die Hardest, Leave Free, and Die Hard, and then Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Die Hard with a Vengeance was number 2.
No, it was.
Or was number 3.
No.
Okay, here we go.
No, Die Harder was 2. Die Hardest was 3.
I hated that there was a stupid question that we had on this one. Die Hard 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance is 3, Live Free or Die Hard, A Good Day to Die Hard.
Yeah, I like the titles. The movies aren't the best. But okay, number 12. Terminator Salvation, when Marcus discovers that he's a human Terminator hybrid.
The one that was spoiled in the trailer.
The one that was spoiled in the trailer.
Yeah.
That was bad.
And then Robot John Connor. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that franchise, like...
And Genesis?
Yeah, that franchise just imploded on itself. It had such good potential.
It had such a cool poster, though. Like, do you remember the movie poster for, I don't know if it was Genesis or the one before it, where it was the bombed out city that had the Terminator face? You know what I'm talking about?
That was that Salvation?
I don't know which movie it was, but it
Yeah,
had
okay.
an awesome poster.
Okay.
Salvation is why Jared joined the Marines.
Did anyone fan of the Saw franchise?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you are?
Yeah, I like
Saw IV. That's 4.
yeah.
When Jigsaw communicates with Mark Hoffman from Beyond the Grave.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb.
Okay.
Also, when they revealed that the one apprentice was making impossible tasks, that was pretty frustrating. I didn't like that much.
Chick from Becker.
Yeah, the whole point is that you can get out if you're willing to be hard enough or strong enough. But yeah.
Speaking of Rambo starting the war, Rambo First Blood Part 2, when Rambo takes out the Soviet military with a knife and bow and arrow. I think the whole second movie was jumping the shark, because the first one was like a quiet look at PTSD and what the war did, and then the second one is like, hey, you want to go fight Vietnam again, but this time we're gonna win. Like that, they jumped the shark with the whole.
Yeah, all of the Rambos after the first one really lost the plot.
15 mission. I'm sorry, I'm flying through. We're almost.
Well, isn't Rambo 4 like Last Blood? Then insinuate this isn't going to happen again, and then we had another Rambo after that.
No, Last Blood was the last one. It was Rambo. So there was Rambo Part 2, Rambo 3, Rambo
Hambo.
3. There was just Rambo,
Hambo.
and then Rambo Last Blood, where he's an old man in Texas.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, maybe.
Rambo First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3, Rambo Last Blood. Oh man, did he get it right?
Right, yeah.
All right. So it's official. No more Rambos.
He was sitting in the chair bleeding to death, but you don't see him die. So
there is a Rambo animated series.
Yeah. Man, in the 80s, dude, all these rated R franchises were getting cartoons. Rambo, Terminator, or RoboCop, and
Bill and Ted.
Alien almost got a cartoon. Anyway,
Back to the Future.
I got to do this really quick.
By the way, what is your shirt?
It's a band T-shirt.
Oh, okay. Because I keep looking at it and I keep thinking of Back to the Future.
Why?
Because it says, "But they found me." So all I hear is, It's the Libyans. I don't know how they did it, but they found me.
Oh yeah. So it's a band T-shirt from a band I saw, and the band is called "I Don't Know How, But They Found Me."
See, that's what I was like.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but they found.
That's the name of the band.
I've never seen you in a 3/4 length sleeve.
It's the only one I have.
This looks good. I used to be big
Thank
fans
you.
of them, but
Oh, you gotta get rid of it now. He likes it.
no, I used to be a fan. I don't wear 3/4 inch.
Adam used to be a
Oh,
huge fan of V-necks.
Yeah, I was just trying it out because I didn't like any of the other band T-shirts they had. Like the one that I wanted, they didn't have in my size.
You
So
should.
I'm like, I try a new fit, as the kids say.
It looks
Get it.
good, man.
Thanks.
You look
Do you
Thirst.
You want to go into the other room?
No, we can do it here. I don't care if they watch. I don't care if they
All
watch.
right.
Number 15, Mission Impossible Ghost
damn, I'm so
Protocol.
We're gonna do commentary on it the whole time.
Check out the next episode.
Cody's gonna be like, I don't know what they're doing, but I hear sounds.
It's gonna be 5 minutes long, and they're finished.
You just hear a lot of.
At the end, it's gonna be, and boom goes the dynamite.
You hear a huck too.
Either the toilet's
Wow, he really
clogged,
spent on that thing.
either the toilet's clogged or he's cooking with cookie dough right now. I'm not sure what's going on.
What the fuck was that?
Oh,
you never used
It's
plunger?
mac and cheese when you're mixing.
Oh, mac and cheese.
Yeah, mac and cheese.
Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, when the baddies blow up the Kremlin.
Yeah.
I feel like they jumped the shark in number 2.
Is that the one where they fling the two motorcycles at each other?
That's number 2.
Yeah,
I
I
say
haven't.
whichever one where they ignore the laws of physics and they start a helicopter upside down as it's falling is the one where it stands out to me for something that's supposed to be like a gritty spy thing.
They started upside down?
Yeah, like the plane is like falling off a dam, or the helicopter is flying off the dam or something, and Tom Cruise gets in and he starts the helicopter upside down and is able to pull out of the death spiral.
That may have been Rogue Nation, because Rogue Nation and Ghost Protocol are the two I have not seen.
What's the
I don't
one?
know. I just know it's one of the few that I saw in theaters.
What's the one where Henry Cavill pumps his arm and I just
That's
jizz in my
Fallout.
pants
That's
every single
Fallout.
time?
Oh god, I need to see that.
Okay.
You jizzing in your pants, not the movie.
Oh yeah.
Number 16.
Play the clip and I'll do it.
All right.
Okay. Pirates of Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, when a literal kraken drags Jack Sparrow to Davy Jones' locker.
It
I don't
was-
think that's jumping the
I
shark.
thought that was a cool ending. I don't think that was the problem, other than, it hits all the same notes of, like, major character changes. The problem then is the bullshit that he goes through to try and bring him back in the next episode, or the next movie.
Yeah, I think jumping the shark is when they decided to continue the series after Pirates of the Caribbean 3. Like, obviously,
'cause-
the big... How do you get bigger than fucking Davy Jones?
Well, like you said, they had it comes back to they had the chase. I mean, the first movie would have been a good standalone.
Yeah.
Then they made it a trilogy. You had your point A to your point B, and then after they resolved everything, they're like, "Oh shit! Now what are we gonna do?"
Yeah,
Then-
And
then-
it just went
we can't do this without
downhill.
Jack, yeah.
Didn't they wipe out all the magical artifacts at the end of 3, too?
No, that was 4. They ended all curses.
No, 4 was the mermaids.
No,
5
4. 4 was the mermaids. 5 was where they ended all curses.
Oh. So what? So are they rebooting this franchise?
Which
now?
made no sense because at the end of 5, there's a scene where you see Davy Jones, and it's like, and he's in his mutant form, and it's like, okay, if you've ended all curses, then why?
Davy Jones is dead at 5.
Yeah, but he's in a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yes.
The two, Orlando
Will and-
Bloom and Keira Knightley are in bed together, and there's that shadow of Davy Jones creeping over top of them. So are they rebooting the franchise?
I think
I
that's the
thought-
plan. 'Cause
I
they
thought they were
recast
gonna
Johnny
re-
Depp.
You know
I thought
what?
they were going to redo it with all females.
God, I hope they make it rated R. Anyway, okay.
You would think that R would be a pirate's letter, but a pirate's first love is always the C.
Daniel, do
Yes.
your
We're not even going to
Any-
lube it up. We're
any-
just going to go right into
Well,
it.
I'm trying
Do
to
it
keep. I'm
raw
trying to keep everything in
and
90
wiggle
minutes.
it.
We're a little bit over. Any quickly ending jumping the shark type comments?
Never-ending story when they...
It ended.
Never-ending
Yeah,
story.
the biggest false advertising lawsuit
Right.
ever.
Like, I think the first movie was great when they started going to the real world.
Oh, they made more than one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jack Black was in, I think, number 3.
They made. I thought they only made 2.
Jack Black was the bully in one of them.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Yeah, so they made several other never-ending stories trying to recapture the magic.
I think 90% of this video has been us looking up the titles and how
I mean,
long
it's been quite a bit of that, yeah.
movie franchise.
So I guess
Story.
that'd be my thing. Movies that should have been standalone movies getting sequels,
No, there was
trying
3.
to recapture or get money from those previous ones is definitely jumping the shark.
Yeah, they're trying to wring that,
But is it
money cloth
is
out.
it jumping the shark because the sequels didn't do good?
Well, it's jumping the shark because they have fleshed out concepts that they, like you said, have to change up to make it different now. And obviously, doesn't have the production value as the other ones had because they're just using the name to get a quick buck. And so it's quality's down, acting's down.
No, that's fair because, like, so I recently rewatched Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
And Starship Troopers 2 and 3 both were just abysmal budget cash grab type
Yeah,
of
like
movies.
they're the type of movies that the sequel gets made by a channel instead of a studio.
Right. No, I get that.
I don't think he was in any of the never-ending stories.
That's
Oh,
it.
yeah, no, there it is. Right there.
Yep,
There it is right there.
Never in a story. What number is that?
Number
3?
three, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was right.
I just said
Fuck
you were right.
off.
I said you were
Fuck
3.
off.
Yeah, like number 2, the basic plot is his dad remarries and he's having to deal with having a stepsister. And I don't remember what 3 is
I'm fairly
about.
certain I've seen a lot of movies that start like that. Number 3 is Jack Black steals the book.
Oh, okay.
I apparently don't remember Neverending Story very well because I thought there was, like, the darkness and then the horse dies in the pit
Yeah,
of
we don't talk
Yeah,
about
that's
that.
number 1. That's like the great part about it, it was a great first movie, and then hey, these characters we have.
I could be wrong, but I thought I heard someone talking about it. They were talking about the pit of despair or whatever, where the horse dies. Mm-hmm. I'm fairly certain in the book the horse is just like, shit happens. I'm not. I mean, clearly I'm sure there's more to it, but I'm fairly certain the horse is just like,
again,
don't worry about it, Atreyu. Thanks, man, for everything you've done.
Thanks, man.
Better than being glue, I guess.
Yeah. And speaking of glue, you've been listening to the Orig by
You've been stuck.
You've been stuck on this podcast for far too long. You've been listening to the Orig, a Damage Control podcasting production. Yeah, thank you. And make sure you check out more of our content on YouTube and SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts, where you can find new episodes most Mondays. It's getting better and more consistent. Thank you, Adam. Yep. And make sure you check out our social medias on Facebook and Instagram.
And I'll start putting links on those.
Yeah, and there'll be links in the description below, hopefully, on this episode. So make sure you smash that like button, gently caress the subscribe button, and make sure you just...
We got a lot of plays on SoundCloud.
Yeah, this is not the time to be bragging.
60 listens in 5 days.
We're trying to get people to like us. Don't act like we're desperate.
Well, I'm just saying 60 plays for us is really good.
Anyway, just work those magical fingers across the comments. Thank you so much for listening. Adam, push the button.